Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome to another Tanks replay, and I should probably say why that is. This week is basically going to be all tanks, and it's because I've had to, at a very short notice, come and house sit for my parents, and although I've been able to bring my PC with me, their internet pigeons are actually a bit slower than mine, so hence I can still do some videos, but it's just going to have to be shorter Tanks replays. So for today's, I've picked out this 1375 game courtesy of Dead Captain here, and I keep wanting to say Darth Captain, and I don't know why, but anyway, this is, it's 919, but this is post changes, post light tank changes, so this isn't the 1375 that I played through back in the day. It's got a smaller clip size, it no longer has to see tier 10s, but the gun is a bit more reliable these days. It doesn't have any extra penetration, but it does have a better aim time and better bloom stats. So although you're having to reload that clip more often, it's obviously a shorter reload, and the shots that you do have aren't quite as affected by horrible gun handling as they used to be. So this is a top tier game, which once upon a time in this tank would have been pretty damn unlikely, but these days is perfectly possible. It's not a great map though. It's Kharkov, which doesn't have huge amounts of cover to do and to sit and spot and do traditional light tank things, but he's still been able to do a bit. You know, he spotted a couple of tanks. There is another player on his team, however, that's definitely not happy that it's Kharkov. They're M44 artillery, who announced at the start, and I actually cut this bit out just to shave off a few seconds, basically, that he was just going to sit and be AFK the entire game. So this is actually 14 tanks versus 15, rather than 15 versus 15. The enemy team's artillery has been doing something, but their own artillery, nah, just kind of sat there and done nothing. Didn't even quit out the battle, as you will, I think, see from the chat later on, unless I cut that out as well. They're basically stuck around to, you know, be a dick, essentially. So Death Captain has been able to get the jump on this 1375. It doesn't have enough potential in the clip to actually kill him, and of course having to reload himself gives the other 1375 time to reload, but he's got full health so he can absorb the hits, whereas that 1375 really couldn't. I'm not entirely sure why the 1375 didn't just try and get away through the gap in the houses, the little tunnel, unless that's been removed. I don't think it has. I mean, I know I haven't played tanks much recently, but I'm pretty sure that's still there. So this isn't looking good. I mean, the blob of tanks that were to his west got kind of swept up by the enemy team, and the enemy team did start off with one more heavy tank, and their only top tier heavy tank themselves went to the south, to the plaza area. But there's an enemy top tier heavy tank there as well, so it's not like it was a completely stupid plan as it turned out. It's Death Captain trying to help wrap up this tiger so these guys can turn around and deal with the rest of the enemy team. It's not that far apart on numbers, but just in terms of like the enemy team having a big blob of tanks and their own team being a bit more scattered, well, it's not looking that good. So there's the kill on the tiger. That's actually his 4th kill. He's well on the way to a top gun at this point, but they've lost that Churchill 7, who was never going to last. And that MT-25 isn't going to last too much longer either. They're trying to cap, but that's probably not going to work out. There are some fast enough machines on the enemy team to take it out. But that did give Death Captain a good opportunity to get a hit into the mouse droid and actually finish off the box tank. And the box tank's gun is that, you know, that's good to have that out of the game. That's a nasty gun. In the process, though, he took a hit from the T-20, which wasn't so good, but yeah, that's not too bad. That's his 5th kill. So the MT-25 isn't going to last too much longer. I don't think the T-20 is still up here somewhere, but I'm thinking he's banked on the T-20 having pulled back somewhere else, so he's taking the opportunity to get some flanking fire into the OI, which was enough to finish them. Unfortunately, however, the T-20 hadn't gone as far as he'd thought, so he's taken another hit. It was a low roll, but even so, that's not welcome. So yet another kill. He's on to 7 kills now, so over the top gun and on the way to the Radley Walters. But it's still looking pretty dicey, and I want you to note at this point where the Skoda T25 is and how much health the IS has. So the IS, very low health, the Skoda, full health, but being fairly useless on the one line. And not moving at all. So that's not good. So the IS has gone down to the T20. We know the T20's full health. We know the mouse droid's full health. There we go. He's taken out. But that IS, it was revealed, was full health. So that's very bad news. Not only because, well, it's going to take multiple clips to kill the IS if Death Captain has to do it himself, but also, of course, the gun on the IS potentially could now take him out in one hit. So the enemy two remaining tanks decide to cap. He does take out the T20, which is extremely useful, which now just leaves that IS. But meanwhile, the Skoda has gone on a little journey around the north of the map, and is going to continue to go on a journey basically all around the edge of the map. And I could not tell you why. I really could not tell you why. Yeah, it's not explicable, it just isn't. I can't think of any reason why the Skoda would have thought this was a good idea. I've been trying to rack my brains and think of, you know, some kind of any kind of reason why somebody would do this, but I honestly can't. I mean, Death Captain here is trying his absolute best. He's gotten his one clip of premium fired and actually reset the IS, and he's got another reset there, but isn't actually doing any damage, unfortunately. And because this is a longer range shot, well, yeah, against the frontal armor of the IS, it's very unlikely to do anything, leaving him with only 2 shells. So ideally, you know, he'd reset the IS and the Skoda would cap. But the Skoda's just kind of driven around the cap and is... I don't know. I could not tell you. I don't know if... I don't think this is a bot. I think this is a player that's just doing something I honestly cannot explain. And sometimes I see people doing things and I think, I don't know why they're doing that. And then somebody under the comments will go, oh, well, probably it was this or that. And, you know, sometimes it's just stuff that doesn't occur to me as I'm doing the commentary. But in this case, I have absolutely no clue. This Skoda is taking a tour of the map, essentially, and incurring the ire of basically the entire team that's left spectating. Now, Death Captain himself has fired every single shell. He does not have anything else he can do at this point except either go and sit on the cap, which would require the Skoda to reset, or else he could ram the IS. And I think he was just maybe curious to see what was going to happen, or maybe thought that he could reposition from here to... I don't even know, but, well, what's going to happen is we're going to have a plot twist in that it turns out the enemy IS is actually worse than the Skoda, who's been driving around the entire map and doing not a lot of anything up till now. The Skoda, at least, having gone on his little tour, his little sightseeing trip, has finally arrived around at a position where he can shoot the IS, and he's just sat there in the open, spotted by the IS, and the IS hasn't moved, hasn't fired, hasn't done anything. All the IS did in this game was drive to the enemy cap, and so the Skoda ends up getting the final kill. So no Pools medal, there we go, which would have been his first Pools medal, but still, Radley Walters, Defender, High Caliber, and a Top Gun, and an Ace Captain. Ace Mastery, it's because he's called Death Captain, that's my excuse. And yeah, he really played his heart out in that one. Over 3,000 damage done, 9 kills, almost 1,600 base XP, over double the XP of the next player on his team. And actually the Skoda was 3rd place somehow. I don't know, but then we look at the enemy team list and we see that the IS at the end there did nothing, literally nothing. They were dead last. They had 0 damage done. They did nothing. They just drove to the enemy cap, so they were worse. They were actually worse than the Skoda, and somehow the Skoda was able to bring that to an unlikely win. What seemed like an unlikely win, because that Skoda was just inexplicable, and yet the IS was worse. So there you go, World of Tanks in a nutshell, I guess. However bad you think it's going to be, sometimes the enemy team just turns out to be that much worse. And it really is a good thing he was able to kill that T20, because I think that was the last player that was any kind of threat. So that's it for that replay. Hopefully you enjoyed it and found it as completely derpy as I did. I mean, that was a bit of a ridiculous ending. If you did, you can hit the like button, you can leave any comments below, you can sub to my channel if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned for more.